Did have the NFL awards go down.
That's right.
Yeah, those were also very controversial where it felt like no one who should have won actually won the award except for maybe Joe Flacco and Miles Garrett. But I know people were upset about Joe Flacco winning because they're like, what? You can die, come back and play, but you're not going to win comeback player of the year. And I know you and I were like, well, if you want to win comeback player of the year, you should actually come back and then play for a majority of the game. So I didn't have a problem with Joe Flacco winning. I thought that was a good choice.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. You want to talk about like all the other guys like Tua, Matt Stafford, Baker Mayfield. These guys weren't really coming back from anything significant. Joe Flacco was retired and then he came back and he played the best football he played his entire career at certain points. Would have had 50 touchdowns if he played a full 17 games. So I'm perfectly fine with Joe Flacco making it and winning it. And I don't really understand the beef there by any means.
Yeah, I don't really understand the beef there either. The weird one was Lamar Jackson was one vote away from being a unanimous MVP, and I think that one vote was Stephen A. Smith, and he voted for Josh Allen.
Mm.
I don't know if that's confirmed, but there are some rumors about that. But for me, Lamar Jackson, he didn't have the best stats, and then he had one of the best defenses in the NFL this year. And you can point to the Steelers game where he threw an interception, could have lost his team that game. I don't really have a problem with him winning it, but to almost be a unanimous MVP where there wasn't really a clear winner, where Lamar Jackson was just the one who had the least amount of bad games throughout the season, where I
Yeah.
thought if any year for a non-quarterback to win, it would have been this year when he could have given it to someone like a Christian McCaffrey who had 21 total touchdowns and there's only 17 games.
Hmm.
And then it seemed like he had the biggest impact on his team there. I don't have a problem with Lamar winning it, but almost being a unanimous MVP seemed like a little bit of overkill.
Yeah, I agree because I have no problem with him winning it, like as everything you mentioned. But at the same time, he's the first quarterback in NFL history to be like not top five in the big categories, touchdowns, yards, and everything else. So his numbers really weren't that spectacular. And even like you look to his rushing numbers were kind of run of the mill for Lamar Jackson standards. And I don't even think this was his best season. I think even last year he might have been even a little better before he got hurt. So, I mean, I'm fine with him winning. Two-time MVP. He's deserving. He's great. We know that. But like you look at a season with Christian McCaffrey, we look at Tyreek Hill and all these other figures who had great seasons but were non-quarterbacks. Hell, even you could have had a TJ Watt in there or a Miles Garrett who could have been up for MVP. I just felt like the media all year was flip-flopping on the MVP. Who's the MVP? Is it Dak Prescott? Is it Defensive Player of the Year, Deron Bland? Is it all these other players? Tua in the conversation at certain points, Brock Purdy. And then for it to be at this point, how they voted for it, not fine with him winning, but like almost unanimous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, almost unanimous. And it felt like a year where it's like no one was really the runaway MVP. So the fact that he was almost unanimous was a little bit like, okay, he only had 24 touchdowns though.
Yeah. And he also had, I think, 15 turnovers as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he had exactly 15 turnovers, but he wasn't like he was a little bit loose with the ball in some of these games. And you also had one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best, with the Ravens, and they held the Chiefs to 17 points in their game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that team all around him was fantastic. So I don't know. No